saying before, like I seen the film over the weekend, and there's a lot of a really nice Western kind of scene that you're expecting from. But there's one particularly, I don't know if that was like intentional or not, but it kind of remind me like a 300, like like this is a Sparta moment.
Yeah.
That was like how hard was shooting that scene in particular? Because to be honest, you nailed it on that one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Um, yeah, I mean, I it was a fun fight. I assume you're talking about the one in the church, right?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That was a fun fight to film. That church scene actually spanned 3 days because we wanted to keep the lighting as similar as possible. So
Yeah, yeah.
we shot it over a 3 day period, and James Logan, the bad guy in that scene, he's great. He's a great friend of mine, a great actor, and I mean, Casper is just phenomenal. So it was fun. It was a fun moment in the scene, and I knew we were there's those moments on set when you always know you're capturing something magic, and that was definitely one of them. So
Yeah, and for sure, like that one, like I'm pretty sure most of the audience, without giving it away, like they're gonna fall in love with that scene
yeah.
because it was very iconic. And then I see it also like during the film, like most of it was shot in locations, right?
Yeah, we shot it on location in Kentucky. Excuse me.
Yeah,
Yes, we were in
yeah,
Kentucky.
because that's a I think it's more challenging when you're doing like an actual location because you're like depending on everything like weather wise and then like people going like around the production. So, what were the challenges you guys were facing during the whole shoot?
I mean, mostly weather changing. We were there in the spring, and so it was. Excuse me, let me drink water real quick.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
It was a lot of weather issues. I mean, it was tornado season, and so it was like
Oh,
constant like, oh, guess what? There's a tornado a mile away, and so we would have to shut down lightning storms. The landscape itself was changing. I mean, literally Kentucky, and I'm from the Southwest. I'm from Phoenix. I'm from
yeah,
Los Angeles, and so we don't get really seasons.
exactly.
It's like different temperature. It's different stages of 70 degrees, and then Phoenix, it's just either cool or super hot. But in Kentucky, they actually have seasons, and I didn't realize that until we're sitting there, and it was literally like nothing on the trees, totally dead as we're prepping. And then the minute we start shooting, everything went green super fast. The grass grew within like 3 days. I mean, it was incredible to see how fast things actually blossomed and grew. And so, that's the difficulty of shooting on location is like, it's tough. It's a tough it's more challenging because you can't control as much. So you just got to, somehow deal with the elements within your story sometimes. So,
Yeah, I noticed that. And then the other thing that I wanted to see is like, for example, how do you navigate the balance between your artistic vision and then the commercial demands of the film industry?
that's funny because I actually came from television. I did a lot of TV, and there it's very much a box. You're very much creating things. It's still creative, and I still enjoyed it, but it's definitely like this is how you have to shoot. This is how, because they expect it to fit in that box. Um, Whereas with this film, Shout Factory was very supportive, and they really gave me a quite latitude of freedom here. I mean, they allowed me to edit the film as well. They allowed me to score it, and Jamie Thompson had a lot to do with that as well, my producing partner. And so it was rather refreshing. I mean, this film was rather refreshing in the fact that it was like, okay, yeah, there's boundaries with it, obviously. It's not some, it's not massive budget, but we're allowed to go in and with the money we did have, be creative with it. And that's something that you don't get too often. And so it was a lot of fun, and there, the balance on this film it was more like, just make us something really cool. And so,
Right.
that was kind of the directive from Shout, and the script had already been written by Keith Merrill when I came in. So, the script was pretty founded already, and we made a few tweaks to it, but not a whole lot. So, yeah, it's great having supportive people like Shout and that kind of thing.
And now that you mentioned like script and stuff, what was the inspiration behind Guns of Redemption? Like, what made you choose this film particularly and make and a Western film?
I love the Western genre. This is my
Nice.
this I've done three.
Mhm.
Next week we'll announce another one that I have coming out later this year, and so this is my second. And it was funny enough. It's my second to release, but my third to shoot. I shot the second one before the third one. So, but anyways, I love the genre. The genre is fantastic, and it's fun because period piece, and you get to explore a time that's long gone, but a lot of people get so excited about it. You find these role-playing guys that, still dress up and love that time period, and they know so much about it, and they're really passionate about it too. You'll sit down and ask a guy, okay, what about what saddle did they ride in? And this guy, he'll know every detail of what saddle they rode in the late 1800s. And so that's what makes these things fun, is because the historical aspect, but also you're telling a cool story.
Yeah, because I seen like for a while there was a time like there were plenty of Western films and then none of it, like or non-mainstream basically. But then it's just like a kind of like a resurfing again of the genre.
Yeah, no, I think we owe Taylor Sheridan a lot, a debt of gratitude for that, because he definitely resurged the genre, and so I think there's definitely, I've been saying all day today, film is very cyclical, and genres. It's like horror will be hot, action will be hot, westerns will be hot, dramas will be hot, and so I think it just depends on how much demand there is. And so you're right, you'll have a bunch of western movies, and then the demand will go away for a little bit, and then you'll go 3 4 years, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, man, I haven't seen a good western in a while, and so they come back, and so I think we're right on that wave right now, because American Primeval did amazing on Netflix. So yeah, I think we're there.
And what was like the process for like the casting for you?
This one was cool because I got to work with my good friend Jeff Goldberg, who reps, he's a rep over at, he reps Casper, Jeff Fahey, Sienna. So it was really like, hey Jeff, I want your best actors. And so, it was like, and Jeff was like, all right, you got him. So Jeff was, working with him is always a pleasure. I've worked with Casper before, and so when I was told, that he was already being considered as the lead, I was more than supportive. I love Casper, and just one of, a phenomenal person and a phenomenal actor. Jeff I hadn't worked with before, nor Sienna, but Jeff came in and was just like absolutely, blew me away with just his artistic style. He's very music and very stylish, and we had fun just creating. It was refreshing, a refreshing way of making filmmaking, where it was it was like art, but it was like serious art, and that's fun. It was a lot of fun. And yeah, so I think, and then we have Caitlin, who's an up and coming actress. She's got some great roles coming up. She just starred in a couple of movies, and so she's an up and comer, man. You got to keep your eye out for her, because she's really going to kill it.
And then if I'm not mistaken, most of the action scenes were actually Casper doing the scenes, right? Like without the stunts.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, Casper did all his own stunts. He rode his own horse. We couldn't get him off the horse. We were like, Casper, get off the horse.
I
We got.
know that's what I noticed. As a director, I'm pretty sure like that incites you to be more involved with the crew and more involved with the scene and then the actors as well, right?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I mean, this is, this film, like I said, I had a fair amount of creative freedom, so I actually operated one of the cameras. I really got into the to filmmaking again. It was no longer I'm going to sit at the sit at Video Village, and it's funny enough that scene you were talking about, the 300 scene where he gets
Yeah.
kicked backwards. That's actually me shooting with the camera. I filmed that scene, that shot myself. And the first time he threw himself backwards, he kind of misfired and kind of shot me in the leg. So I was like, ow, don't do that again. And then we did it again and got it perfect. But it's exciting. Filmmaking's exciting. I think sometimes you just gotta throw yourself in the mix. So.
Okay, and to the final question. So, how do you see the future of cinema, and what trends do you find interesting that you would like to explore more?
The future of cinema is interesting. That's an interesting question because AI is going to change a lot of things. I recently saw a short done by AI, and they're almost getting the mouths to move with the dialogue. I mean, I keep telling people in 3 to 4 years, I think, you could sit down and really do a movie with just your computer. And if you really understood how AI worked and the dialogue it took to make it, and you could make a pretty fantastic movie. And so I think it's going to allow a lot of voices that aren't heard because of, financial. I mean, it's expensive to make film. So I think it's going to open the door and it's going to allow voices to people who can't be heard right now. And I think that's important because, film should be an art open to everybody. And it's not always been that way. And so I think it's really going to open up the doors to anyone and everyone that wants to sit down and put some time in and create some art, and we're going to see some phenomenal projects coming out because of that. So
Okay, thank you so much for your time.
yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Yeah.